Hi, my name is Ron Roberts Jr., and I worked at the University of Southern California for over 16 years. And working at USC was truly one of the highlights of my career, if not the highlight of my career. And so I had a lot of great memories working for the university. And so I wanted to share a story from that time, just a quick story. And I'm calling this story The Kindness of Shelley Smith. And so as many of you probably already know, Shelley Smith is an ESPN reporter, and she's been with the network for a little while. And in my estimation, she's a legendary reporter for ESPN. And you've seen her on TV more than likely, and she's done a lot of great work. And so I just wanted to share a quick story about Shelley. So back in March of 2006, I hosted an event called Sports and Entertainment Media, and it was a career panel. And Shelley was on that panel along with some others. I had individual from E! Entertainment Television, someone from People Magazine. I had an individual from the Hollywood Reporter. We had someone from Fox Sports. I had Ben Boach, who's been a good contact of mine. He was with the Los Angeles Times. And also Petros Papadakis. And those of you in the USC community more than likely know about Petros. And so we had a very fun and engaging panel. And there's a lot of good banter going back and forth between the panelists. And so it made it a lot more interesting. So the panel, we do the panel, and it goes pretty well in my estimation. And so after the event, Shelley comes up to me. She's very complimentary about her experience. Now, mind you, I've done these types of events before, so I was used to people coming up and saying thank you for having me out and saying some nice things. But Shelley seemed to be particularly complimentary, and so she talked about how organized the event was and just what a good experience she had on the panel. And so she asked me for my boss's name and contact information. And so I was taken back a little bit by the request because I hadn't gotten a request like that before. So I shared my boss's name and contact information. And so Shelley indicated that she wanted to write a note to my boss just about her experience with the event. So I was very flattered and excited about the possibility, but I wasn't quite sure that Shelley was going to follow through. Well, a few days later, my boss comes to me and she says, "Ron, I have a note from a Shelley Smith." And so my boss reads the note, and it's very nice. And so I was very flattered and excited about it. And it was cool hearing my boss, read these nice things about me in the event. And so I really appreciated Shelley for being so kind to me, especially when she didn't have to be. And I became an even bigger Shelley Smith fan from that day forward. And so fast forward to 2020, July 31st, I'm co-hosting another sports career panel, and this time with a USC professor friend, Jeff Fellinger. And so Shelley's on that panel along with some others. And so we start the panel, and so one panelist is talking about their experience in the industry. And so they cite Shelley Smith as an influence in their career. So I was like, oh, wow. So I took note of that. And then not too much later, another panelist is talking, and then that person brings up Shelley Smith's name and just how Shelley Smith had affected that person's career. So I was like, okay. So I took note of that. And I also chimed in just briefly just to share how kind Shelley was to me years before. So 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm doing a short Zoom career interview with another sports industry professional. And so that person's talking about her experience. And then she mentions Shelley's name again, and Shelley is a mentor. So at this point, I'm thinking, all right, so we have to do some kind of public shout out, acknowledgement, or tribute to Shelley, just for me to let her know how much I appreciated her kindnesses towards me and apparently to others in the sports industry. So Shelley considered this your public shout out, tribute, acknowledgement for being so kind to me years ago, and also apparently for being so kind and supportive of others in the sports industry. And so please keep doing what you're doing. You've made a difference in lives, and it's definitely much appreciated and needed. So I hope that you enjoyed the story. Thank you for listening.